and good morning to you. Well, it's Friday the 18th of November 2022. As I start today, I checked various things. I checked the weather and I thought about what I'm going to do today and what I'm going to do tomorrow. And although it looks like a lovely day today, the weather suggests we could have some rain. So I'm going to do my washing tomorrow. But tonight we're going to have cold weather. Cold for what I've got used to this year so far. Not cold compared to Antarctica. But cold. So the start of the day will be just rounding up and putting in the right places firewood, cleaning out the cuisinière. You can only do that when it's out, which, you don't want it out when it's cold, so I better do that this morning. And then we'll get on with more of the same. Now, sort of on the subject of flooring and firewood, I thought I would show you this because I'd never seen anything like it, and neither had most of my neighbours. Next door is a delightful small house. Belongs to a chap called Thomas. He's a good guy, and he and his partner decided that they wanted to sort out one of the rooms which hadn't been sorted out for a lot of years. Anyway, they got stuck into it and they lifted the, I'll call it lino, it was probably a vinyl of some sort, it wasn't proper linoleum. Put my teeth in, linoleum, and underneath it what he found was this flooring, and it was laid over the top of some pretty awful concrete which has got to come up, which was laid over the top of a membrane that had failed. As with all building work, one thing leads to another, and there's no difference between Thomas' problems and mine. Well, there's differences, but it's the same. You seek to solve one problem and you find another. Anyway, what this is, it's little pieces of, we'll say pine, some sort of pine, that is glued onto plywood, and it does click together. And I guess it provides insulation. It provided a surface for laying a lino on. Now, for Thomas, of course, the problem was how to get rid of it. And the solution that most people follow is you break it up and you put it in the trailer or in the back of your car and you take it to the tip. But he's no fool. Taking it to the tip, there was enough there that it would have filled his car twice. The tip is, 9 miles away, so that's 36 miles of driving. Or you say to your neighbour who's got a wood burning cooker, do you want it? I look at it as, well, the alternative is for me to go and buy kindling. They do sell bits of wood like this, all bagged up as kindling, for about €5 for a small bag. So, naturally enough, it solved his problem of how to get rid of it. It solved my problem of where to get firewood. and it's good for fire lighting. It's not really good for keeping the fire going, but it certainly burns well, which makes one wonder whether it would meet any sort of modern building standard. It certainly hasn't got any flame retardant in it, but I guess if you lay it on top of concrete, there's no reason it should ever catch fire in its normal place. But there we are. It's something, as I say, I'd never seen before. In the way of these things, if you do any work here, suddenly your neighbours come to poke their nose in. None of our neighbours had seen a flooring like it. We don't know how old it is. Is it from the 1950s? Is it from the 1930s? We don't know. But what it is today in 2022 is a good source of firelighter. And one of the most important tools in this whole process is the Karcher vacuum cleaner. Really good bit of kit. It sucks anything, provided that the filter is clean. So before I do the next job, let's have a look. Oh, actually, I've seen it worse than that, but we're going to whip that off, go and give it a good knockout, get all the crud out of it. This is all part of the joy. Cleaning vacuum cleaner filters. Well, having cleaned the filter of the vacuum cleaner, I had this crazy idea that maybe I ought to use it. What a terrible suggestion. And having removed all of the paint that climate activists had put on this picture, it's rather lovely. I remember buying this in a charity shop in Barkingside. I think of Barkingside as being Essex, but of course it's in the London borough of Redbridge. But it's a picture of Leon Sea. Yeah. Interesting thing to find in Barkingside. But one of the things about shelves and ornaments and knickknacks is they do gather dust. And I just thought I would show you what we have on this little shelf. We have got a bird skull. And we have got a rat skull. And for good measure, another rat skull. And you might say, what on earth have you got those for? Well, they were items that I found when I removed the old ceiling. They were in the space between the ceiling and the floor beneath, the floor above it. So I thought, yeah, a little bit macabre, but part of the history of the building. And yes, cleaning and vacuuming and de-dusting is good therapy if you're this far into a job that involves bending over. Progress is happening. I've been filling in some of the bits that I'd left, which, it's fiddly, but we're getting there.